What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be talking about all the changes the algorithm is making on Facebook, as well as where it is that they are taking Meta and how that affects us as advertisers. I'm also going to be digging into some drama with Zuck. Always exciting. So stick through to the end for that. But in the meantime, let's dive into the algorithm and let's dive into Facebook's business. Well, and where it is that they're going. Sorry about that. Their mission as a company is to build the best advertising and consumer experiences. And they don't want to be constrained by their competitors. So, for example, which is why it is that they're launching Llama 3.1 as open source. And I'm going to get to that. Now, their entire business model is built on the ability to acquire users and then monetize those users later, which is why it is that they are launching Llama 3.0 as open source. Is it's going to give them the ability to source, have other developers work on it, develop it, and then install that back into their business for their core and back into their core business, as well as their family of apps, which I'm going to get to of how they're doing that. Now, there was some drama. Oh, Zuck wrote a letter justifying open source in this direction because investors have consistently pushed back and pointed out that he can't just do whatever he wants when it comes to investments for the company. But diving into content and how content is consumed on Meta's platform. Well, how they're currently using AI to adjust the content is that they're changing the recommendation settings, focusing on showing more organic content as opposed to ads on people's feeds. So why are they doing this? Well, they want to increase the bingeability of content to retain eyeballs on their platforms like TikTok has. For example, TikTok, people will just swipe all day and they'll stick on there because it's very bingeable content. Facebook sees that trend and they're looking to capitalize on that. And how they're using their core AI is looking at engagement as the leading indicator for which type of content that they should show their audiences and which type of content that they should show consumers. So they're constantly building out and refining their content recommendation models to focus on engagement, like I just mentioned. Now, how this works in practice is that they just consolidated how their recommendation models for which lives are shown, longer form videos, as well as reels. Before, it was just their AI had just been focusing on recommendations for reels. However, they've combined this under one model to showcase to each individual consumer which content is most likely for that consumer to want to consume. So they're putting it under one single experience. Now, when they use AI for Reels, it massively increased the engagement. They didn't highlight any metrics for that, but we can take it at their word, given that they have all the data and what it is that they're looking at, that this change of focusing on Reels increased the engagement for consumers' engagement with Reels. Now, what's funny is that even they're consolidating this all under one place, including people you may know. So, for example, before, right, you did just Reels recommendations for Reels were AI powered. And now you have everything: longer form videos, live stories, recommendations, etc. And let's talk about monetization. The other angle to this, and in addition to improving the user experience on their platform to retain eyeballs, what they want to do is they also want to be able to showcase more ads. And you can see that consistently, I mean, even though they're reaching a point of diminishing returns by figuring out where it is that they can place more ads. So this is constantly something that they're looking at of how they can increase placements. Now, quarter over quarter, you can see 10% increased ad impressions delivered worldwide. Now, the other thing too is they want to, and this impact, like there's a few levers that they can pull on to increase their average price per ad or how much money they actually make per ad. Number one is increasing our CPMs. So thanks for that, Zuck. But it is something to be aware of to say, hey, how is it that we can how is it that we can increase the CPMs on specific platforms? Now, what I find interesting about this is like if you look at markets like LATAM, the cost of advertising is maybe 5% as expensive as America is. So this is something to watch in mind, to keep in mind for developing markets, because there's a huge arbitrage opportunity when it comes to advertising. Now, when it comes to AI, their core AI and how it is that their AI works when it comes to the ads placements themselves, their own internal study, and they didn't say which model they had run this study on or which model they were using, but they saw a 22% increase in conversions for advertisers by using Advantage Plus, according to that study. And it just goes to show the power of their Llama model and the power of Facebook's AI, because what I do want to highlight is the fact that the processing power, this is the processing power of Llama 3 versus Llama 4. Llama 4 is currently in under development. They didn't give a timeline of when it's going to be released. However, this is a key direction where they're taking the business, and it's already extremely powerful. So the algorithm is going to get 10 times more powerful over the next, between now and whenever they next launch Llama 4. So how Facebook is leveraging their core, leveraging AI to impact their core business is twofold, right? Is number one, how do we increase ad impressions or ad placements? And then number two is how do we increase the average price per ad on their monetization strategy? How does that impact us as advertisers? Well, it means that our CPMs are going to increase, but Facebook is going to be working to show our ads to more people for less. Now, over time, this is going to also improve CBO performance. So campaign budget optimization came. So if we're using campaign budget optimization, really what Facebook wants to do is they want to automate as much of the advertiser experience as possible while keeping it on their platform. Which takes me to how they're going to be using generative AI and Llama 4. And this shit is fucking crazy. They want to get to the business to a point where everything, the entire advertising experience is on the Meta platform. So building creatives, for example, on Meta is how they want to be using their generative AI. Now, the next step of that is they also want to create personalized ad experiences all on platform. It's kind of they're taking this in a similar direction that Amazon had done, where Fulfillment by Amazon, and Fulfillment by Amazon owns so much of the value chain that they can just ask for 30% of an e-commerce store's business or revenue because they own so much of the supply chain. Whether that's the warehousing, they own the platform, the audience, the logistics, everything. Facebook is implementing a similar approach where they're trying to vertically integrate more of the advertising, like the value chain of advertising, whether it's building the creatives, sourcing the creatives, and warehousing that all on Facebook, and going a step further and being able to personalize those advertising experiences to the consumer. Like, imagine that. Imagine you go to Facebook, you type in a prompt, and they're going to get this to a place where we can build the entire ad, video, creative, everything on platform. Now, the next layer of how it is that this is what currently exists today, right? I mean, they're already automated a lot of the media buying. And now the next thing that they're trying to automate is the creative while keeping it on platform. Now, the other capability of where it is that they want to take generative AI is through AI assistants. Now, imagine an AI assistant can consume all the content on your Meta page, your social media on your social media pages, be able to answer questions to customers right away. Now, in a lot of markets, particularly developing markets, people want to talk to somebody right away. And usually this is very common in LATAM where if you people want to interface with that business on WhatsApp right away to ask questions. With Meta's AI assistant, they're going to be able to answer all those questions and you're going to be able to automate that experience and automate the customer support through Meta. Now, the other thing that they're doing with their AI is enhancing like shop ads. Like shop ads and e-commerce were a key priority for them and their core AI and leveraging Llama to be able to do that. Because I mean, retail is the largest, retail and consumer goods is the largest market in the United States. So it makes no surprise that they're making that a key priority. But all in, they also set an ambitious goal of Meta's AI assistant being the most AI used AI assistant in the world, which makes sense given the fact that they have 3.2 they have 3.2 billion active users on their platform every single day. It's not what I'm looking for. This is it. On their family of apps. And it's growing. So look for them to build out Llama 3 and then figure out a way to monetize this later, which is exactly what it is that they've historically always done is acquire users. And they've really been the ones that have made this Silicon Valley strategy famous of let's acquire users and then figure out monetization later. Let's build the platform. But they are one of the biggest platforms in the world, obviously, with the most active users. Sorry about the dog. And they're going to keep trying to control more of the value chain when it comes to the advertising experience. So I'm pretty excited to see how they incorporate personalized advertising experiences because that is going to be a total game changer for the businesses that capitalize on that and that are the quickest to use that. So those are the changes to the algorithm in 2024 and coming up in 2025. And it's just like we are at like Moore's law of exponential innovation. And the algorithm is already insanely powerful that I can't even imagine what it's going to be like in over the next year. Facebook is king as far as advertising goes, and 66% of marketers, according to HubSpot, still prefer Facebook as a preferred advertising channel. And looking at this and the direction that they're going, I don't see that changing anytime soon.